the track, and so we're going to be doing some 800s and some 200s. We actually changing it up a little bit rather than going to the red track. We're coming here to this school. What do you call it? It's like a go-kart racetrack? I don't even know if that's actually a thing, but it just looks like a lot bigger than what a normal 400 meter track looks like. So I just did a 400 meter jog, and then I'm going to do some stretches. I like to stretch out my hamstrings, and especially warming up, I like to try and do some dynamic stretches. So I'll do some leg swings like old mate over there. I'll also do some walking lunges, stretching out the hip flexors, and then I'll also do some kind of running drills where I've got high knees, fast feet, just getting the blood pumping and prepping for the main piece. If I'm having to focus on certain paces, if they're fast paces, if they're slow paces, and you know, for today specifically, I'm going to be doing some run-throughs just to kind of get the speed in my legs, get those legs pumping, and just start to feel the pace on what I'm trying to actually aim for per 100 meters, so that I'm actually hitting those times for the 800s. Yeah, so prior to CrossFit, the main sport that I actually focused on and dedicated a lot of my training to was actually track and field. And so when it comes to track, I definitely know a lot more of my, I guess, limitations and my paces and everything. I feel very comfortable with them, and it's something that I've done for quite some time now, that I know how to recover when it comes to certain distances, and especially when it comes to 800s and 1500s. They were my main focus when I was doing track. So for me, that was something that, you know, I'm able to understand where to push, where to kind of, I guess, recover, how to attack a bend, how to come off a bend. And you know, I have those kinds of thought process when I am doing this track session. Oh, so just got done with my track session. It was good, actually. Paces were manageable, but the temperature was definitely a factor that I think enhanced the session. It's looks like it's going to storm, so the humidity feels pretty thick right now, which I love. I prefer to train in the heat. I think it just adds that extra element to it, and you know, it's quite challenging, obviously, trying to maintain paces, think about technique, and then also when you're feeling a little hot, trying to just get comfortable with that. Everywhere I've lived, it's always been a very hot climate, and so I definitely think that I'm used to training in more hotter areas, but I also feel really good once I've sweat, and I do think that it really just adds to me that next level But then I could say the same thing about it being in cold weather. So I really understand when people appreciate it being cold, because that is a whole nother challenge in itself as well. Trying to maintain being warm and everything when it's really, really cold. And it started raining at the gym, so we had to pack up everything and leave quickly. But typically after a track session, I like to stretch out. And there's 3 main stretches that I like to do. I like to do my, focusing on my hamstrings. So I'll lean forward. Sometimes I'll have both legs nice and straight. But if I want to get further deeper into the stretch, I'll bend one leg and then be able to lean into it a little bit more. The next stretch that I would do is more so focusing on my ankles and also my calves. And so Ron would like to call this low dragon. And so I like to stretch out and sit in this position. It really gives me a nice big pull all the way up through my calf, especially from running. And then the other one is a saddle, seated straddle. So I will be focusing on my my hamstrings, my quads, and I'll lean back and really feel that stretch through my my quads and my hip flexors as well. And those 3 stretches are predominantly the ones that I like to are kind of like my go-to, just because they focus on the major muscles that tend to feel a little sore after my session. This wraps it up, but I do want to just emphasize on how important it really is to stretch. I know I do it a lot, especially before and after my training sessions. And you know, especially through today, it was a hot session, it was tough, but taking that time to unwind and, you know, fuel the body with a protein shake and, you know, staying hydrated, that prepares me for an even better day tomorrow. And I can't stress that enough. So I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.